Micro nano education for everyone.
We're going to turn it over to CAST, and I think we have Allison here, we've got Luis here, and they're going to share what this MNTFolio is, which will be awesome. Thanks.
Hi, everyone. So I am Allison Driscoll from CAST. Here today also is Kara Wojcik and Luis Perez, and we are part of the team that has created MNTFolio. And the last time we talked with you was back in November, and I think we showed you what it would look like on a slide deck presentation because we were still designing and building the tool, but now it's ready. And like Jared said, we wanted to just have you log in today and respond to a couple of challenges that we put in to help you get familiar with how it works. And we'll just be here if you have any questions, and we can kind of talk through how this is going to work. And if the mentors want to pipe in at any time and talk a little bit about how you anticipate using this tool over the next few months, feel free to jump in. And then Luis put the URL for MNTFolio into the chat. So it's mntfolio.cast.org. So MNTFolio is MNTFolio.cast.org. And that should get you to the login page. And I'll log in as a student. So you can also just kind of follow along and watch me if you'd like to do that as well.
And this is Kara. Allison, as you're logging in, I'll just mention that this app is designed to work well on a phone. So if you guys are utilizing it, not on a laptop, your experience using it from a phone should be just as productive. So feel free to do that as well.
So I've logged in, and when you log in, you're automatically brought to the challenges page. So we at the CAST team have put in 3 challenges just to get you started. And over the course of this semester, your mentors will be putting in and assigning new challenges that you will respond to. These 3 challenges are in the career skills category. And then there are other categories that will be rolled out as you start getting familiar with the tool. So biotechnology, foundational knowledge, materials, microsystems, and photonics will be the other categories. But what we wanted to start today by doing is have everyone answer the career skills challenge, introduce yourself. And mentors, if you log in, you can also answer this challenge. So when you log in, you'll see challenges the same way the students do, and you can go click on the challenge and respond. So the way you respond to a challenge is you read the instructions, the directions in step 1. You have the option to upload a photo or video. It's not required, but we want to give you multiple ways to express yourself. And then you can also enter a text response below. And then there are 5 competencies that have been pre-selected as relevant to this challenge. And we ask you to select up to 3 that you are most interested in working on in this first phase of your research experience. So once you select the challenges, the competencies that you want, then you post it. And once you post, your mentors, the teacher side, will see your challenge response.
This is Luis. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Yeah, I just want to point out where it says enter your response. You'll notice that there's a microphone icon over on the right side of that text box. You may not see that. It depends on the browser that you're accessing with. So if you're on Google Chrome or any Google Chrome based web browser like Edge, you should see that microphone icon, and that will allow you to use speech to text. So you can basically speak your response, and then it'll be transcribed into text in that text field.
So this is Kara. As you're checking out the application and logging in and getting familiar with the navigation and getting into the challenges, I've logged in as a teacher because the way that the app is set up, there's kind of 2 different types of logins. You can log in as a student where your work is just private to you. And then you can log in as a teacher where the teacher has the ability to see student work as it's posted. So I've logged in as a teacher, and it looks like we've got our first response to the Introduce Yourself challenge. So that's awesome. And it looks like we're rolling. So as folks go through and complete the challenge, definitely let us know if you're running into any blockers.
So I'm just going to respond to some of the questions in the chat. Tanya asked, how can I tell if I'm logged in as a teacher? So your account that we created for you is a teacher login. So you are logged in as a teacher. And the difference is that you have options to see student work. So your menu is slightly different. So I'll share again and show you the difference here. So on the teacher login, on the menu, you see student work, which is how you can see the challenges that students have responded to. And you also have the option to see student folios. So students do not have those two menu options. But otherwise, you have the same access to seeing challenges, seeing the work that you've done, creating a folio, and accessing videos.
I don't know if it would be helpful for folks while you're working on these to just go back, because I know November was a long time ago, and just to refresh folks' memory about kind of what we're getting at with the use of this application while you're going through your research experience. And I think, the biggest thing that I wanted to reiterate, and especially for folks that maybe weren't with us in November, is that this really isn't meant to be additional work from what you guys are already working on in your courses and what you're going to be working on in your research experiences. It's really meant more to document the work you're already doing and give you a flexible way to kind of document the process as you're learning these new skills and as you're taking, these research opportunities and trying out new things. The purpose of the application in general is really to give folks a way to document what they're learning with multimedia and then kind of align that to the competencies that are in here. So if you guys were playing around with the first challenge that you took and introduce yourself, when you get to that step 3 and you're looking at the competencies that are available, so there's actually a ton of different competencies in the application that you'll be seeing throughout the program. And your mentors kind of vetted that list of competencies, and they're really meant to be this sort of wide range of different skills that you'll learn and practice as you go through the program. So whenever you do a new skill, or whenever you try something out in the lab, or whenever you're doing a project, what we want you to kind of practice doing is thinking about, okay, how does the project I just did or the skill that I just learned connect back to one of these bigger competencies that the field of micro nanotechnology really values. And I just wanted to kind of throw that out there, because I know that when you're starting up using a new tool like this and it's got these prompts in it, you're probably is this just going to be this extra stuff that we have to do on top of the coursework that we already have? And we're really hoping that's not what it's going to be. It's really meant more to just give you a way to kind of document and capture all these things that you're working on, so that when you get through the program, at the end, you have this fully built portfolio that's already tagged with all these competencies that you've learned. And, you can kind of take that and do a whole bunch of different things with it. You could sort by the competencies and say, okay, these are the ones that are really specific to material sciences. Then you could pick that up and say, okay, if I'm going to go on and really work in that particular field, these challenges that I responded to are relevant to that. And maybe I can show the examples of that work to, if I'm applying for an internship, or if I'm going to try to get into some, higher level courses that have prerequisites, or whatever the case may be. It's already going to sort of be pre-organized for you because you've done the work to go through and document your stuff and then tag it. So that's kind of what we're hoping you'll be able to get out of this, but we want your feedback along the way for how that really works for you in practice. Because, obviously we want this to be something that feels useful to you throughout the program. And we're hoping that you'll reach out to us and let us know what's going on with it and how it is functioning for you, and, what additional things would make it even more useful, or if it's not useful, we want to learn that too. Because, we want this to ultimately be something that is, an addition to your program that doesn't just feel like busy work, but actually yields a product that you can use.
Yeah, so I added something for the first challenge, a picture, a short intro. And I think what's really cool is that somebody actually replied to my picture, and I'm guessing my intro there. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, we didn't mention that today, but I hope we did when we met with you all in November, that the teachers the mentors, when they see your responses, they can give a response and provide feedback. And then if you, I'll just share really briefly. So the little blue word balloon will show up as blue if you have feedback on your challenge. So for instance, this one does not have comments yet because it's clear, but this challenge here has received feedback.
And I just threw this in the chat, but I wanted to mention it to everyone as well. If you run into like technical issues, or if something's not working, or if you just have a question about like functionality or whether or not you can do something in the tool, please reach out to us. There is an email address that will go to like our whole team, and then whichever one of us knows the answer and gets to it fastest, we'll get back to you. But for stuff like a technical issue, especially because we want to be able to like do quality assurance on the app and make sure that it's working for you with all the different like types of computers and phones and devices that you're using. If you ever have the opportunity to like grab us a quick screenshot of what's going wrong, that makes it easier for us to try to figure it out and fix the problem. So you can always send us a screenshot, and that can go a long way because we run into, with something that's like cross-platform, occasionally, you run into an issue that you've never seen before because it's on a device that it hasn't been tested on yet. So if you have that happen, we would love to know about it, because we can actively put in, a work request to try to figure out what's going on there and fix it on the fly. So we want to be doing like that maintenance all along the way. So if something's not working right and it's not just you, probably. That's what I want to let you know. It's not just you. Let us know, because odds are it could be happening to somebody else as well. And we want to make it better. So yeah, definitely reach out to us when that happens.
This is Luis. I would second that. And just like Allison asked you to specify which device you're on, the more details you can provide to us, platform that you're on, the browser, the easier it is for us to troubleshoot some of those issues, along with that screenshot. That's really helpful in guiding us to doing the testing, so we can recreate the issue and then see what we can do about it.
So we've gotten quite a few responses at this point from students to that first Introduce Yourself challenge.
The maximum length of your response, how long can it be for the Introduce Yourself?
Yeah, you're only allowed about 3 sentences.
Okay.
We did actually just increase the character limit for the directions side. On the teacher authoring side, just because we're just trying to customize this tool to fit your needs. So we totally appreciate that feedback. If there's more that you'd like to add, it's something we can consider, is making that field bigger. When the tool was originally designed, the idea was that the challenge assigning and challenge responding would be pretty quick. And so we wanted to actually limit the amount of text that we were asking students to put in.
I didn't know if we were supposed to put like more of like an elevator speech or just a quick introduction. So I was just curious.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think a quick introduction, a few sentences is appropriate. Yeah. So we have a little bit of time left. I wondered if any mentors had taken a stab at creating a challenge. I think I see one. There are 2 other challenges that you'll see in the challenge section. One is about considering your audience, and the other one is about choosing media format for your challenge responses. So if anyone has any questions or comments at this point, feel free to unmute. And then otherwise, I would encourage people to pick from one of those other 2 challenges and submit another response.
Hey, Allison. This is Kate. I'm one of the mentors. I was going in to comment on a student's post. Mm-hmm. And I noticed, I'm not sure if this is just because of the browser that I'm using. When I go ahead and I select one of the students' responses to the Introduce Yourself challenge, the way that it opens I can see their response, but their name is not clearly associated with it, which is just a little, like, I don't see it being highly problematic getting started with a relatively small group. But if this were to scale, I could see that being a challenge.
Yeah, I see what you mean by that. So when you first, before you click on it, you see the student's name. And then once you're in the response, you see the response, but it's not like clearly associated with which student posted it. Right. That is good feedback. So while people are still checking out the tool, I'll just show you how a challenge is authored. We'll just walk through that. So I'm logged in as a teacher. So I'm on the challenges tab. I click on create a new challenge, and I have 6 categories to choose from. In the lead up to rolling this out, we've talked a lot about focusing on career skills in the first couple of weeks or month or so. But we will also be sharing challenges that are in the domains of biotech, foundational knowledge, materials, microsystems, and photonics. So any of these categories can be chosen. A title is entered here. And then the directions field is here. So I was saying it's a 5,000 character maximum. And then the challenge author can either upload a file or embed a video to go along with the challenge. Click in here. So you can grab a video from your phone or from YouTube and link it there. Put in a caption. And then in the last stage, the challenge author selects which competencies they want the student to select from when they're responding. So the challenge author can select 3 to 5. And there's a definition that can pop up by clicking on the eye icon for any of these definitions. And when students are responding to challenges, you also have access to these definitions here. So once the challenge is done, you select the current cohort, and click post, and then that challenge will show up for students. If you aren't done with it and you want to come back to it, you can save it as a draft. And then once it's posted, it'll show up here on the challenges page. And students will see it as well.
Allison, maybe just while you're there, just show them my folio concept.
Sure.
Just so people understand how that works. But I think people are getting rolling with creating challenges, so just understanding how these things kind of can be curated into things they might share for various reasons.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think what I'll do is I'll log out as a teacher and log back in as a student so that I can actually have something to select. So as you, a little bit down the road after you've responded to a number of challenges and you have a set of challenges that you think demonstrates a particular set of competencies very well, like how Kara was mentioning, something you might show a prospective employer or a college counselor, you have this tool where you could make a folio. And you would name the folio give it a name. And then it will bring you to your challenges that you've created. Not sure if, yeah, so I'm logged in as a generic student that hasn't completed any challenges yet. So it's not going to be easy to demonstrate this right now. But we can certainly create a video or send something out or do another session like this once we, with some sample challenges populated in here. And all the challenges that you've created would show up and you would just select them and they would get pulled into a new view. And then you would be able to write a short description that describes how all of the challenge responses in the folio sort of showcase the competencies that you've been building in your undergraduate research experience. and then a nice shareable link, a shareable view of it will be generated. And it's something that you could share a link with somebody who doesn't have to log into the tool to see. This is not a very good demo right now because I can't actually create one without sample challenge responses. But we will get together again and we'll demo that more completely.
I just want to mention, I love the idea that Jared, you shared about having learners and mentors kind of work collaboratively to create the challenges. Because as you guys are seeing probably in your version of the app, like if you're logged in as a student, you can't create challenges directly, but having you guys be able to, give input and ideas on what these challenges should be measuring. Because ideally, they're going to measure the skills that you're developing in your research experience. So if you're saying like, hey, I'm doing, oh my gosh, I don't have a good example, but if you're working on a project and you're like, I could really use a challenge that kind of is designed to show that this particular skill I've been doing is here in my portfolio, work with your mentor on putting that together because it's kind of it's a customizable thing. So the challenges that you guys need in order to be able to really capture the work you're doing, that better than anyone. So we can come up with a good mechanism for how to make that happen as you're working through the project that you're doing or, whatever the case may be, because we want you guys to be able to customize these to exactly what you're working through.
No, I think it's really cool. I like the idea of mentors and the students working together to create challenges. I think there's 3 in there right now that are pretty good starter challenges. And maybe I'd love to see over the next 2 or 3 weeks, people adding challenges in there. And then maybe we have another, you guys come again in February or March sometime, and then we kind of go through what people have done. And then see how it goes from there.
Yeah, and we could possibly work on creating folios at that session if students have a bunch of challenges they've submitted. And then the other thing I wanted to mention is all of those challenges that you all have created, we could work on putting those in as well if you wanted to do that.
Yeah, no, that'd be awesome. I think, I don't know, I think there's probably 10 or 12 that were sent. So working on kind of getting those in and then, we go from there. I mean, it looks like a really cool tool. This is going to be awesome to have students be able to work on it and see it has hopefully grow and grow and grow. Maybe get other ATE centers to add in, from biotech, autonomous technologies and have like a big ATE folio in a way. Yeah, that sounds great. Well, thank you everyone for, participating today. And it's really great to see all of your responses and introducing yourself. And it's been cool for me to learn about, what your interests are. And so Kara had put into the chat earlier the email address if you have any issues, MNTFolio help@cast.org. Please do use that to reach out if you have any issues